I turned my life into a movie.
What you talking about, Barry?
Yes, you heard that correctly. Well, actually, I think more accurately, I turned my life into a TV show. And this changed my life. I was inspired to do this because of a book I read called A Million Miles in 1,000 Years by Donald Miller. And in this episode, I will give a summary of how turning my life into daytime television helped me solve my feeling of mediocrity in life, disrupt my brainwashed worldview of what's considered normal socially, professionally, and relationally, and how it helped me implement a productivity hack that I have never ever seen anywhere else that completely changed my approach to everyday life, which I will explain step by step.
You're listening to the Build Your Vision podcast, a podcast series about maneuvering the ups and downs of building a life that you're proud of, captured in real time. A community where dreamers become doers and doers become world changers. Let's go.
Donald Miller, the author of A Million Miles in 1,000 Years, had written another memoir prior to that called Blue Like Jazz. It was a bestseller, and a filmmaking crew reached out to him because they wanted to turn his book into a movie. Sounds great, right? Well, of course, Miller agreed, but not long after agreeing and meeting with the filmmakers, he realized that the movie that they were making was not the book he had written. They were changing everything, basically. And one day he stopped them and said, why are you changing my life story? And they pulled him aside and said, well, look here, Don. The bottom line is, your life's boring. Yikes, right? It was a blow. Miller wasn't expecting it, but he couldn't really refute it. And at that point, he realized that we often write stories about our lives that never leave our desk. On paper, they look good. They sound good. You got your degree. You secured a nice job. You got married. But if your story was on the big screen, it quite honestly would probably be painstakingly boring. There were no risks, no exciting incidents, no stakes at all. And I'm not saying that those things aren't good, then you shouldn't be proud of those things, but this encouraged Miller to take more control over creating a life that will actually be a box office hit, to stop playing things safe, to actually give his best shot at living the life he actually wanted. And this inspired me because at the time I was feeling actually very similar. My life looked pretty good on paper, but it would probably be really boring on the screen. I hadn't taken any risks. I hadn't pursued what I truly wanted. I was trying to check boxes so that others would think I was successful. I was even seeing monotony in my walk with Christ. My faith had become routine at best, but definitely not a living, breathing relationship. So I thought to myself, what if I turned my life into a movie? So I did, and it didn't work. And here's why. I realized that life is more like a TV show than a movie. Movies have a beginning, middle, and end. Movies have a set amount of characters. Movies only go but for so long. But TV shows go as long as the story needs to be. There's a beginning, but there's no set ending. And the characters are fluid. They evolve over time. New ones are introduced while other ones depart. I realized life is a lot like a TV show. So I began to take the attitude that every day of my life was an episode in my TV show. And I didn't realize it at the time, but this mindset shift would revolutionize my productivity. Here's exactly how I did it, step by step. Step number 1, discover your why. Your why is the purpose behind your dream. It's the meaning behind your dream. Every show has an underlying purpose. That purpose could simply be to make you laugh or to educate you in order for you to take a desired action. Every show has an intentional purpose other than making money. Your life needs intentional meaning and purpose as well. But unlike a television show, your why is not created. It is discovered. It has been with you for your entire life. You just need to be made aware of it. A simple way to do this is to write down the most meaningful, impactful, and or memorable experiences in your life from the day you were born until yesterday. What's surprising to most people is that it is almost guaranteed that there will be a connected theme in the background of these experiences. You identify the themes and the one that moves your heart the most, the one that if it were removed from your life, you will feel like you would cease being you. That's your why. An easy formula to write a why statement, which I have derived from Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, is to blank, so that blank, because blank. 2, your contribution to the world, so that your impact in the world, because a reason. An example of this would be to live optimally so that others are inspired to do the same, because the world doesn't need more information. It needs more examples. That's actually my personal why statement. So this is the first necessity for your life's screenplay. Your show, aka your life, needs to have an underlying purpose. Step 2. Articulate your vision. Your vision is the painted picture of your dream. So your why is the purpose behind your dream. Your vision is the painted picture of your dream. You can articulate your vision by simply asking yourself the question, what do I deeply believe should be in the world, but isn't? What world do I want to create because of my contribution? An easy formula for writing a vision statement is imagine blank because blank should blank. Here are some examples, because I know these blank things could be confusing. Here's one from Tesla. Imagine a world where each home owns an electric vehicle because cars should love the environment, not kill it. Or Apple. Imagine a personal computer in every home because every person should have access to a computer, not just the wealthy. See, your character needs an ideal that he or she is striving for, or else there's no motive or momentum in your story. Now, the third part of the preparation of your screenplay is you have to establish a mission for your character. Your mission is the plan for your dream. So the why is the purpose for your dream. The vision is to paint a picture of your dream. The mission is the plan for your dream. What's the goal that you need to accomplish in order for your dream to become a reality? Now, I like to split my mission into 2 parts, and this has helped me tremendously because sometimes this mission thing can completely get out of hand. But I have a macro mission and a micro mission. The macro mission is the big, audacious goal that will put you in a good position to make your vision a reality, right? People say set big, large goals. Some people say set small goals so that they're easily attainable or so that they're more realistically attainable. But I think you should break this into 2 things because I believe you should push yourself to dream big because that actually opens up the door for you to accomplish more than you ever would if you set your goals smaller. But also it can get you in the weeds or have you feel overwhelmed because there's so much distance in between where you are now and where that goal is. So that's why you have a micro mission. This is the thing you need to accomplish next, just the very next step. So here's an example just to stick with the Tesla examples, right? So Elon Musk's macro mission, the big picture, might be to have 100 million Teslas on the road by 2030. I don't know how many are on the road right now, but let's just say that's his goal because I know he wants to revolutionize the EV world. So 100 million Teslas on the road by 2030. Now his micro mission might be to perfect the newest iteration of the long distance battery. That's the next step in order for them to actually accomplish that macro mission, right? Or let's just say for me as a content creator, I have this dream of building this whole media company, but the very next step for me as a content creator is to perfect my content creation workflow. That's the very next step that I just need to focus on right now. And once I accomplish that, I can move on to the next thing. That is a micro mission and a macro mission. The whole point of this on this part of your screenplay as you're writing out your life's television show is that your character needs a goal that they're trying to accomplish each day. They got to wake up for some reason. They got to have something that they're actually trying to do, right? So that's the third part of our screenplay prep. You got to have a why. Your character has to have a why. You have to have a vision. What's their motive or motivation? And they have to have a mission, a plan of how they're actually trying to attain the goal that they have in life. And here's the last part of your prep for your screenplay for your life TV show. construct your premise. The last piece you need in your screenplay is a premise. Every show needs and has a premise. Every description that you read while browsing Netflix for your next show to binge is a premise. And every premise is just broken up into 3 parts. Once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it. A defined character, a mission, and adversity. Don't believe me? Here's an example from Breaking Bad. A high school chemistry teacher, that's a character. Dying of cancer, that's adversity. Teams up with a former student to secure his family's future by manufacturing and selling crystal meth. That's the mission. So if you wanted to stick with our Elon Musk / Tesla example, right? We'll say like a whiz kid from South Africa, character, with Asperger's, the adversity, attempts to revolutionize the world by pushing the boundaries of science. A mission. I tell you, just go to Netflix and you will see this literally in every single description of every single show. I go way deeper into this in my Visionpreneur School, which is my online community for content creators who are looking to get clear on how they could change the world. But like, just go on Netflix and you'll see this. Those are the 4 components of your life screenplay: your why, your vision, your mission, and your premise. And after I determined these components of my screenplay, I treat it every day like it was an episode that led to my character's mission. And I will reveal how I felt about my show on a daily and weekly basis. So why should you even try to do this, and what would be the benefits for you? This process resulted in 3 main benefits for me. Number 1, focus. If each day was an episode, each day I had to have a focused objective that would support my why, my vision, and my mission. Even Seinfeld, which is a show about nothing essentially, had an objective at least for each episode. So I had to be focused each day. Number 2, ego. I wanted my life to make a good show, just from an egotistical standpoint. I didn't want the show to be boring. I wanted it to be Emmy worthy. So therefore, I became more intentional about making my life one I would be proud to watch on the big screen. Even if no one else wanted to watch it with me, I wanted to be proud of what I saw if I went to a theater and watched my life on the big screen. So ego definitely played a part of it, but it was actually the positive aspect of it, not the prideful aspect. And number 3, intentionality. It forced me to become the main character of my own freaking life, guys. Each day I had to wake up with main character energy because I, in fact, was the main character. And it forced me to have a vision, a mission, and a premise for my life, which provided me more clarity and intentionality. Like I said, I explained this whole concept in a lot more detail in my Visionpreneur School, which is my online community. If you want to check that out, you can go to buildyourvision.co. What I'm trying to explain in this whole episode is that extreme productivity in your life is not about being more organized, even though organization can help. It's actually about being more clear and intentional with your time and energy. And you can only achieve this level of clarity by changing your mindset, the lens through which you view your life. You have to become the main character. Each episode of your life should lead to your vision and mission and align with your character premise. Everything else is minutia. Everything else are just distractions that should either be eliminated or mitigated. I just want you to imagine a room that's really messy that you would like to be clean. It's junky, it's messy, it's completely out of order. And you go into super cleaning mode. Have you ever seen that scene on like Space Jam where they're trying to clean up the dilapidated gym, and then Taz like goes into a whirlwind and like just starts cleaning everything really fast? Like that's what you go. You go into super cleaning mode and put everything in its proper place.
Money fresh.
You organize items with labeled bins and folders. You dust, you sweep, you vacuum, and the room is now in pristine condition. Hooray, right? The mission's accomplished. But then you go to grab an item, and then you need to get some work done, and you need to set up a new space in the room, and then dust starts to collect in your bins, and the floor is hard to completely sweep and vacuum because all the file cabinets in the way. And then all of a sudden, your once sparkling clean room is cluttered and disorganized all over again. I'm pretty sure all of us have gone through this in real life. This is what happens in our lives when we think the answer to our productivity is organization and management. We finally actually get around, after procrastinating for a super long time, to doing a deep clean on our lives. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff. We clean out our email inboxes. We organize our phones. We get a whole perfect ideal week into place and structure all of our times and alarms and all these things just for life to continue going on as it did before. And soon everything starts to just get back out of place again. I know this has happened to you. Don't try to act like this hasn't happened to you before, because this happened to me a bunch of times. But like, what if we went back in time and we had the same junky room to clean, but instead of relentlessly organizing it, compartmentalizing it, categorizing it, you purged it. You got rid of everything that wasn't absolutely necessary for you to function in that space. And the only way you could do that is you actually are clear and intentional about what you need to accomplish in that space. This is why intentionality and clarity is more important than organization and management. By the time you're done, right, cleaning up this new room, by purging it, all you really have in it is a desk, a chair, a notebook, a lamp, and one folder. That's all, because that's all you need to accomplish the mission that you have. Now, which room do you think would be easier to keep clean? Which room would be easier to dust and vacuum? Which room would be easier to stay focused in? The room with less in it, right? This is how we need to treat our lives as visionaries. And the only way to achieve this outcome is to become clear on what you need and what you don't. If you don't become clear, then you will always be hanging on to things that don't help you build the life you actually desire. Now, of course, I know you can't cut out everything in your life that doesn't align with your goals, and you don't have to, but you have to be intentional about where you're investing your time and your energy. Turn your life into a TV show just with the steps that I said here. You will become the most productive and effective version of yourself. You won't regret it. Now, I know this might be a lot to remember, and I have complete templates for all of these things that I've said in this video. If you want all the prompts, the formulas, the full template of how to structure your life like a TV show, you can get it by simply subscribing to my content hub at buildyourvision.co, buildyourvision.co, plus a whole bunch of other free stuff that will help you build your vision. The link is in the description. Like, subscribe, peace, guys.